Hello, hello, welcome to Tiger and Crow. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so today we're talking toxic. No Britney Spears. I have been in the process over, a long while, probably like 7 or 8 years of just trying to notice different ingredients and the way that they affect me, trying to really eliminate the toxicity in my immediate environment, meaning my home, and really cutting back on buying or getting products or using products that have artificial ingredients, artificial fragrances especially. I'm very sensitive. This is really important because I definitely feel that I'm getting more sensitive as I get more tuned into my body and just my etheric field. And I'm not the only one going through this transition. I feel like as a collective, we're all doing it at our own pace. And as I become more sensitive, it just becomes even more important that I do different things to filter out the toxins that, unfortunately, it's in our world. There's still emissions, there's still pesticides being sprayed. It's there, it just is. At least the part that I can do is making sure that the things that I use in my home are as safe as I can possibly get, as natural as I can possibly get. So not taking in those harsh ingredients. Like I said, I didn't go from 0 to 100. This was a slow process for me. It's still a process of just taking certain things out of my home, making different changes, but I feel like I'm at a very good place right now. I do feel that you can do it slowly, like making little baby steps. You don't have to do everything at once. I tried to, and that didn't work very well. There's really, really simple changes. So today I wanted to just talk about 3 different changes that you can make really simple, really easy, just to make sure that your environment is feeling less toxic, period. Okay, so number 1 is cleaners. I first decided to really examine the cleaning solutions I was using. I remember this was about 7 years ago, and I was cleaning my bathroom, and I actually burnt my lungs, my trachea maybe. Oh girl, I don't know what this is called. I got burned here because I essentially from the combination of products I was using, created like a mustard gas. And that's when I was just like, oh my God, I had no idea how powerful these chemicals are that I'm using. You just buy them at Target and don't think anything of it. And so that's when I was really like, let me see what cleaner that I can use that's almost like a multi-purpose. It's an easy solution. White vinegar, I buy a huge jug of it at the store. I wanna say it's like under $2. I use this as a base for so many things. I use this, number 1, I dilute it with some water and then add in whatever essential oils that I want. And I use that as like a countertop spray, as a multi-use spray. This has been such a game changer because it's so easy. Whenever I run out of it, I just make more, but it does make me feel better because it's not only, spraying it into the air and inhaling those chemicals, but now that it's just a natural vinegar, the countertops that I use to prepare my food, if the food is touching it, it's not getting those chemicals on the food. It's just super simple. I use vinegar in my laundry in combination with baking soda and with the Myers soap. I found that using that combination of baking soda, the Myers soap, and the vinegar, that gets my clothes clean. And then I also don't have to worry about that water that goes and is rinsed out from my laundry. That's not toxic, that's not hurting the environment or anyone else. And then when I'm wearing the clothes, breathing that in, sleeping on my sheets, I'm not absorbing any chemicals. It's just such an easy fix, and my laundry still smells really fresh. So vinegar is just like a must. You will see if you search online how many uses there are for it, and you can eliminate almost all of the chemicals that you use in your household. Vinegar is number 1. All right, number 2, you don't even have to buy anything. This is so vital. Fresh air in your home, circulating through your home and through your space. I found out not so long ago that actually the air that's within our homes is 85% more toxic than the air outside. And that's because everything gets trapped. I just mentioned all the chemicals that are released just living in your environment. fresh air circulating through your home is a must. This is something I've always done. However, when it's winter time, like it is now, I'm so reluctant to do it because obviously it's cold. You don't want to open up, like the last thing I want to do in the morning is open up my window, let in that cold air. It makes such a difference though. That's when I would suggest doing it, is like in the morning, I just open up my windows. I open up just like a couple of windows to get things circulating, moving through the house, getting that fresh air in, and I do notice such a difference. It's funny because one of the things, I just completed a really extended fast, and I noticed on the days where, because I was incredibly weak for most of it was a 30-day long water fast, and so I really was in a weakened state where I couldn't do a lot. Whenever I left the house, it felt like I was going on a grand pilgrimage. I had very low energy, but I noticed such a difference of taking in fresh air is so much easier on my system. My system, when I was just inside, I could tell it was harder for my body to process the air that was around. Like, it was so noticeable. And when I would go, especially someplace where there was lots of trees, lots of plants, it was a different quality of air. It felt so good. It felt so refreshing. And so even though it's winter, it's just something that I recommend you doing, just to kind of turn over that air, especially with the heating system. I almost always put heat on at night. And so to counteract all that toxicity, just letting the air circulate out, at least for part of the day. And it's really easy, and I guarantee you're gonna feel a difference in the air. Okay, number 3. Another thing that I do every morning and every night. So I used to be a big fan of like Glade plugins. I used to like the Bath and Body Works plugins. You know, I would have those everywhere. I would have the little sticks that stick out of the oil, whatever those were called. I really did like fragrance. However, those are chemicals. They just are. They're not the best thing to be having. Sprays, like I used to do room sprays, Febreze, all of that stuff it's not natural. I'm not trying to down it. Like, if you use it, I just said I used it for the longest time, even after I kind of knew that they weren't that great to be in my environment. I kept using them because most people really like to have just like a really nice smell in their home, or like when you're gone from your house for the day and then you return back and you can like kind of notice what your house smells like. You want it to smell good and welcoming. I wanted to cut these things out, but I was like, what do I use instead? And honestly, burning sage and burning incense to me does a double duty. Number 1, incense, if you keep it around your house in different little bunches, it will fragrance the house almost like the same as the oil diffuser. That's what the little sticks sticking out are called, the oil diffuser. It will do kind of that same process, so you still will smell it throughout. Not only are they natural, I only use natural incense imported from India, and then I get sage. I have cedar bundles. I used to use Palo Santo. Unfortunately, there's some shady things going on with Palo Santo, and I don't want to be contributing to rainforests being depleted of their beautiful sacred Palo Santo trees. I mean, sage by far is my favorite. It smells so incredible. I know people don't like it, but I think that's because their noses are attuned to those more artificial fragrances. So I would say if you're not quite used to that smell, just keep using it. I think that you'll almost like crave that smell. When I wake up in the morning and after I make my bed, I go through my house and I cleanse it. It's the double duty of, not only does my house smell so good in the morning, because like not only am I getting that fresh air in there, but then like the sage and the incense, it just smells so natural, earthy. Sage, if you're not aware, really cleanses. It's like a spiritual cleanser and not just like physically cleansing and moving the air. So whenever I'm saging, I say kind of something a little bit different every time, but along the lines of like, clear the energy of this place. Any negativity, you must leave. This is a house of a light worker. This is a house full of love. Just casting out any negativity. I have an insomnia that comes and goes sometimes, and after a really rough night's sleep, it helps to like clear and reset, even if it's just mentally for myself when I go to bed the next night. It's like really cleansing that space, so it's not trapping that energy of when I had that insomnia, when I was tossing and turning. I just can't recommend it enough because it does that spiritual cleanse, and then it also just makes the air smell fresh. It makes it smell really earthy, and I know it's not doing anything negative to my body. When I breathe it in, it's all natural. And like I said, I do it at morning and at night, and that keeps my space really thoroughly cleansed. That's just 3 things. I mean, I'm gonna continue to expand on different small little changes because I don't think you have to do a lot at once. It doesn't have to be totally extreme. 100%. I've noticed difference in just my health and the way that I feel. You know, control the things that you can control. When you go out into the world, you're exposed to whatever's out there. But in your home, you can control it. You can start to filter out the different things that really aren't serving and ultimately feel so much better. So I hope that this helped. I hope that you're able to make some of those changes. For me, it's just made such a difference. It makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel like so much more comfortable in my own home, which is so, so, so important. Love and light. Please be well. I hope that this was helpful. Ta-ta.